Welcome back to the podcast. We took a little early year week break, I guess, but we are back. We are discussing current events because the inauguration is on Monday. So I just wanted to go over the state of things because it's not good. I would argue it's not been very good. So let's just talk about that. Today is January 15th. It's a Wednesday. It's currently 7:15 p.m. where I'm at. There was a train honking and there's a bunch of birds cackawing because I live around a bunch of crows. It's crow season in Portland, so that's what I'm dealing with. And if the sound picks up any of that, out of my control. What's been going on in my life? I've been working. I've been watching some movies. I went and saw nosferatu, finally. I was a little underwhelmed by it. I gave it a relatively positive Letterboxd review after I saw it in the theaters because I think I wanted to like it so bad. But to be honest with you, I was very underwhelmed. I felt like it was quite mid. It's definitely the worst of the three major Nosferatu films, the others being the 1922 and the 1978. That's a guess on those years. But Murnau and Herzog, and now we have Eggers. I find it's the most sexy, it's the most perverse, but it's also, I think, the least interesting thematically. Yes, it's deconstructing our view of Victorian sexuality, but does it need to be done? I feel like that's already been done. I guess what I like so much about the Herzog one is that the characters feel more real because the way Nosferatu is portrayed is more real and more human. And I didn't really feel connected to the characters very much in the Eggers version comparatively. I did do my bachelor's thesis on the vampire myth, specifically using Dracula as a base. It was a screenplay that I wrote. I was a film student. Anyway, so I've spent a lot of time thinking about Nosferatu, believe it or not. And I think part of what makes it interesting for me, Nosferatu / Dracula, whatever, is more of a figure of loneliness, isolation. He's taboo. People don't like him. And it's very clear that he's evil in the Eggers one and that he's nasty. And nobody wants to be around him for very valid reasons. And I think it's more compelling to me to make Nosferatu a complicated figure. Maybe he just doesn't know how to communicate very well. Maybe being a vampire is really hard. And, maybe that's something that many people can relate to or should think about before they go torturing others with their personalities that they haven't fully developed because they haven't been around people, you know what I mean? So I guess I didn't find it very interesting, even though I wanted to like it so much, and I found parts of it, creepy, and that they looked good, and I thought the performances were good. I wasn't that excited by it. Those are my thoughts on Nosferatu, the movie. I haven't seen Baby Girl yet, and I haven't seen A Complete Unknown yet. So I tried to go see Baby Girl with my friend on Sunday, and it was sold out. So the people are really excited to see Nicole Kidman still in January. And I think that's wonderful. I've been rewatching Girls again, as I am wont to do. I really like the first season, especially the episode where Hannah returns home. I also just went home in December, so I found that episode timely for me. In my hometown, personally, there's a lot of new young people, not necessarily people that I knew myself when I lived there when I was younger. And a lot of them are cosplaying as homesteaders because that's what my hometown is kind of known for, is a farming adjacent lifestyle. And there's a lot of religious people, Christian people in my hometown as well. So there's an added element there that isn't in the Girls episode, but I like it. I like that sometimes when you go home, there are fundraisers for people that have died, and the fundraisers don't make any sense. and that people are just kind of weird all over. It's like not a city thing. You know, that's just a good reminder sometimes. There's the scene in that where she does go to that like dead girls memorial, and they do, like, her friend from high school does like a choreographed routine to Pretty Girl Rock. And I just think that's a really good scene. I am obviously a Hannah. I think I'm a Hannah. But I think this time around I'm also finding little moments in every single character that I relate to, which is not good or bad. I'm not trying to put like a judgment on that. You know, I love all of them equally, and I also hate all of them equally. So I think that's the beauty of girls, is that you're not really supposed to like any of them that much, but you find yourself kind of rooting for them anyway. I just like it. I think it's a great show. This is going to be a really scattered episode because I'm just trying to get through everything that's been happening recently. I feel like the two big things are the LA fires and, the pending inauguration. As of today, also a potential a signed ceasefire agreement was come to between Hamas and the government of Israel, that we will see how that plays out. I'm worried it's too little too late. Tens of thousands of people have died, many of them children. We certainly didn't do anything to help mitigate that, so is what it is. I guess I don't trust at this point that, like, it's gonna be stuck to, or that, like, Netanyahu won't try to, like, figure a way to get what he wants, and that the U.S. won't back him in that. So I have complicated feelings on it, but ultimately, a ceasefire is good, right? Less people dying, more time to hopefully rebuild things. But I guess I'm just very pessimistic at this point about that entire situation. And I really wish that the U.S. wasn't playing such a significant part in that. So those are my surface level thoughts on that. But so we're heading into inauguration with a ceasefire deal. We're heading into inauguration with wildfires happening in January in LA, the Palisades, and Altadena. Well, okay, so also Biden's farewell speech was also, like, just before I started recording this. And he presented two ideas that we didn't do anything about while we were in office, I guess. Term limits for Supreme Court justices, as well as not investing in the stock market while you are an active member of Congress. Will those things happen? Not under Trump, but he's gonna mention it. He's gonna throw it out there as, like, a thing that we could possibly do. We might want to do, but, like, it's too late. It's too late. Maybe we're heading into Trump feeling like everything is too late, or perhaps that's how I'm feeling. That, like, anything we could have done to fix the current state of things or to mitigate disaster and death and pain and suffering for people just, like, wasn't done. And that makes the inauguration feels like a defeat, right? Because I and many others would have wanted a different future. And I think we would have also wanted, whether or not we love Biden or not, I personally don't, would have wanted a Biden term where, like, some shit got done. Like, yes, there were the student loan forgiveness pieces, like, crumbs. Some people that I know got a decent amount of debt relieved, some got a little bit, some didn't get any at all. And that's, I think it was confusing for people. I had this written down somewhere. I was taking notes about my feelings over the past couple days, weeks. Yeah, so the Biden administration also killed non-compete clauses that prevent workers in some industries from, like, continuing to work in those fields. If, like let's say you work for Google, and you quit your job, and in your your hiring contract, there's a clause in that contract, this was legal, that, you know, you can't basically work for any like Google competitor because you had access to privileged information when you worked at Google, and therefore you can no longer work at Bing or whatever the fuck. That was officially banned under the Biden administration through the FTC. Hello. Ignore the big table behind me and all the junk. We're like rearranging the house. It's fine. Just letting you know, I fucked up here because the FTC actually could not get this passed because a Texan judge struck it down, saying that it was bad for business and unconstitutional. So, sorry to keep burping. I'm eating rice. I'm eating rice in a bowl. But anyway, so that's not actually happening. So the Biden admin hasn't gotten shit done. Also, because of the Trump administration after effects, which is fucking awesome. The Biden administration also expanded eligibility for mandatory overtime pay. There was a mandatory overtime pay for people making like... Okay, so I'm cutting into myself again because I guess this is stuff that I remembered happening and then never followed up on, because I just looked this up and this was also struck down by a judge, which is insane. Another Texan judge, federal judge, struck down, extending mandatory overtime pay to 4 million salaried workers. This is on Reuters, by the way, which I'm going to find a website that I like more. What the hell? I wonder if it's the same judge. Can I figure this out in front of you guys? I don't edit these clips, so like if this is me staring at my screen for a second. Because overtime pay was supposed to jump from anybody making 44K or under to 59K or under. Like you would have to pay overtime if an employee works overtime, because it's not required for anybody making more than that. Fun facts. But yeah, who's the judge? Judge Sean Jordan of the U.S. District Court for the Eastern District of Texas. Well, that's a different judge than the other one, so awesome. We live in an awesome and functional country. Those are like labor-focused, positive things, and I think for some people, Biden is going to go down as like a pro-labor president, but I don't think enough people benefited from those things. First of all, I'm just saying people tend to vote about based on what is most expedient to their own desires and wants. And not only were these things not advertised, a lot of people can't take advantage of them, which sucks. You know, it would have been cool if stuff that, you know, benefited a lot of people, like the college forgiveness plan that he did talk about a lot when we were voting in 2020. Not to say that the people who got some loan forgiveness done in the past couple of years, like that wasn't a big deal for them. I think it's awesome. It's just, it was originally pitched as a much wider program that would apply to a lot more people. So yeah. And then there's the way he dealt with Israel and, you know, the death toll in Palestine. There's a lot of weird brain melting things that he said and did. Battle box being my personal favorite. In America, we settle matters at the battle box. It's just amazing. I think it's amazing that happened.
In America, we resolve our differences at the battle box.
Listen here, Fat. Also a good one.
Look, Fat, look, here's the deal.
There were many things working against Joe Biden. So I'm not really sad to see Biden go. If anything, I'm glad he's gonna be able to rest for like 5 weeks before he dies. I just think, you know, we were set up for failure and we failed. Not that it's really a we, because I don't really consider myself a Democrat. Spoiler alert. I consider myself a left-leaning person. I hesitate to say leftist because there's connotations of like that you do things with your time that are more positive. And I'm going to be honest with you, I volunteer sometimes, but like I could be doing a lot better. So I'm a left-leaning person. that I'm a progressive. How about that? I'm a progressive. And there's nothing for us this past election. We weren't going to win anything. Anything I would like to see happen, universal health care, personally, free public college for all, those being honestly my top two things. Those would be great. Those are not on the table. They were never on the table this election, which is so crazy because every single year that I have voted as an adult, 2016 on, it's been on the table, except for this last year. Power of Bernie Sanders, who kind of like started spitting like right after Kamala lost and like started saying the things that he was saying before and then just disappeared again. And it's like, why'd you do that if you're not gonna like do anything about it? I'm so tired, Bernie. Just start doing something. Kill someone. Don't do that. Or should you? I'm very tired. I think everybody's very tired. I really hate how people talk now. There's definitely been a vibe shift, I think, since Trump won toward like, oh, we can like do whatever we want again, like woke lost or whatever. And I'm not also going to sit here and be like, yeah, everything that like quote unquote like woke culture has contributed is good, because I disagree. I don't think so. I think it can be quite punitive over things that don't necessarily matter. I think, generally people should be able to say what they want and expect debate, but not necessarily like being shut down. Whatever. I have a very moderate take on this kind of thing. But I also would rather people not go around calling women bitches, saying slurs. I'd really rather we didn't do those things. So, seeing a lot more of that recently, and that feels pretty bad. Your Body, My Choice felt pretty bad. I know these things aren't like that widespread that they get reported on because they're like of interest and they sound sensational, but at the same time it's like somebody did say it. It did get attention for feeling real, feeling as if this is a way that many young men feel now, and like just anecdotally I feel like that's probably true. Especially younger guys who I don't have that much contact with, but I have heard some nasty things about, also anecdotally, from younger people. So I don't know. I don't like where we're at. It feels weird to be a woman, and it feels weird to, be a non-card carrying member of the LGBT community, as in like bi, but dating a man, and all my friends are gay pretty much, and that sucks. I don't like that a lot of my friends are going to experience more negativity. It's just shitty. Everything feels really shitty. I thought I would make an in and out list of what I think is going to be in during the Trump administration, what I think is going to be out during the Trump administration, because this is ultimately a culture podcast, right? Like, yes, it's called American in Peril. So like, we're going to talk about current events. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about how it makes us feel bad. But I like to keep it light, because it honestly, dwelling in negativity does nobody any good. If I sit here and I'm like, wow, life sucks, doesn't it? And then you sit there and you comment, you're like, wow, yeah, life really does suck. What did we didn't achieve anything. We didn't even think a unique thought. So instead, I would like to achieve some unique thoughts. I have created an in and out list based on what I think we should be standing up for and standing against. And I'm going to start with standing against first, because let's get the negativity out of the way, and then we'll start it on the things that are good, right? So in my out list, I think we need to get rid of fake homophobia as a joke. People being like, yeah, some people are homophobic, but like, I'm homophobic in a funny way. And like, being like, oh, why are gay people so annoying? Oh my god, gay people are so annoying. Why do gay people talk about stupid music I don't care about? I don't care. Gay people are my friends. bitch. I also think you should stop saying twink if you're not LGBT. I see a lot of straight women using twink very casually and with some malice also. First of all, do not address twinks with malice. They do not deserve it. A lot of jokes about twinks. That's just a kind of body type. I think you're thinking of a different word when you're saying twink, and I would rather you not say that either. So let's move away from that. Let's leave Troye Sivan alone. Let's leave gay people you don't like alone, and realize that you don't dislike them because they're gay. You dislike them because they're annoying, and that is okay. You're allowed to dislike people. I encourage you to dislike people on a personal level. I just don't think you should paint people with a wide brush when it's like, damn, that gay guy's really annoying. Just say, man, he's annoying, but it's not because he's gay. Be cool about it. I also think we need to stand against country music. I think country music is a scourge. I think it is a sign of something when country music gets popular, and it is never a good sign. Country music was very popular in the 90s and the early 2000s, when conservatism and neoliberalism were at a peak. I'm thinking like 9/11, I'll put like a boot in your ass, Toby Keith bullshit. I'm thinking for some reason in the mid-2000s during the Bush era, everybody thought that listening to Rascal Flatts was a good idea. I'm thinking it's weird now that Post Malone is suddenly a white guy again and is making country music. I did steal that line from a coworker. Shout out Jacob. I think it's true. I think he's realized that there's an audience for this sort of thing, and the audience is not the best. Because we've got people who listen to like Morgan Wallen, who like uses the N-word in a very negative context. Not that there's a positive way for a white person to use the N-word, but there's definitely more disturbing ways to use it than other ways. And he used it in a, what I would consider a quite disturbing way. So let's leave that. Let's leave that in the past. I have a no country music tolerance unless you're listening to like, you know, like Johnny Cash and like Pete Seeger and stuff. That's fine. You can listen to folk. You can listen to outlaw country. I don't care. Pop country, leave it in the garbage. That is a sign of conservatives winning. And I, for one, am not going to stand for it. I won't do it. This is a personal one, but I think we need to stop making Kai McLachlan do things on Instagram. This is a personal, as I said, a personal note to whoever his Gen Z intern is. Enough. You don't need to make him pose like Lord. You don't need to make him do a podcast if he doesn't want to. He's aging. We're not going to do Biden too. I think you just need to let him be. I think it's great that he is committed to understanding current trends and clearly has some kind of interest in like contemporary culture. I think that's great. I think everybody who loves art should do that. I don't think we need to pose him and make him do TikToks like a little doll. It doesn't feel right. We need to stop puppeting old men. It's not okay. It's what got us here. I also would like to leave Gracie Abrams in the past. I can't stand her face or her voice. I don't want to see her. Don't come near me with that. And Noah Kahan, don't fucking piss me off. I don't like either of them. I think their voices belong in 2016, maybe even earlier. And I would really appreciate if we didn't do 2016 part 2. I could hear both of them doing a version of Closer by the Chainsmokers, and I think that is not right. Why don't we stop and do something else? And this is the biggest one. This is my biggest out. Elon Musk. We gotta start bullying him even harder than we were before. It's really difficult for me to stop using Twitter, but I might have to. I genuinely might have to, because I don't want to let him win. I don't want him to make money off of me. Also, all the ads I get now are Trump ads. They're MAGA hats. And like, why don't you invest in this fucking Bitcoin, you dumb little baby? And I'm not a dumb little baby. And I won't be investing in Bitcoin because I'm a real adult human being with thoughts and feelings. And Bitcoin is for people that have no thoughts and feelings, in my personal opinion. So I think we need to be mean to Elon Musk. I think we need to say things about him that you would never say about any other person. I think you should start treating him the way you've been treating twinks. You being a very amorphous group of people that I see posting online. Don't be mean to gay people. Be mean to Elon Musk, because he actually deserves it. I did also think it was fascinating recently. There was like Adrian Dittman, who it was debunked. So Adrian Dittman is not Elon Musk, but like people thought this guy posting on Twitter all the time and 4chan apparently was Elon Musk because of the way he talks. But I think he just talks like Elon. He types the way Elon types because he wants to be Elon so bad. And because he thinks they're friends or whatever. Friends is how he says it. Frens. Like, this is fucking 21 Pilots in like 2015. That's where we're at culturally. We're just repeating the same shit over and over. And I am so tired. Turns out Adrian Dittman is just a loser. Like Elon Musk. And that he does happen to have Twitter editing privileges. I guess. That's not going to mean anything to you if you don't use Twitter. Doesn't matter. Maybe you should use it. Or maybe you shouldn't. Because we don't want to let Elon win. I guess I just really think we need to start taking the cultural battles even more seriously than we've been taking them. Don't listen to Red Scare. Don't convert to a random religion if you're not already religious. Don't let people tell you that country music is good. Don't start shopping at Amazon or Walmart. And that is that. You should really own your individuality and save your money for things that mean something to you, which is one of the things on my in list. And don't listen to stuff if it doesn't appeal to you and you think that people are stupid, and don't give stupid people the time of day. That applies to me if you think I'm stupid, because I realize I'm rambling a little bit, but this is a rambling podcast. And this is my personal feelings on the climate. Here's my in list. And this is stuff that I think is going to be a positive influence on the world. It's what I think people should be striving for in a post-Biden, current Trump world. And the first thing to do is to buy a quirky purse. I saw a lot of birkin/firkin meltdowns because I guess Walmart is now carrying a fake birkin/a firkin, as in fake birkin, because it's like corny to have a firkin. I just think nobody should be buying stuff at Walmart. It's like been proven that it makes communities worse off. You should just be buying at smaller shops, first of all. I also think everybody should have personal style, and at this point, Birkins have been out for a long time, and they were never that cool to begin with, in my personal opinion. I find them quite boring. I personally have a collection of Kate Spade purses that I find delightful because they are shaped like little animals and things that make me happy. My latest one is a shaggy dog wearing sunglasses, and I think everybody should have an accessory that says something about them. Consider your sartorial choices strategically. What are you trying to say to the world? Who are you trying to be? I am trying to be someone who likes little creatures and is evocative of a little creature. So I think my little creature bags are quite good. That's something I encourage you to do this year. I also encourage you to watch so many movies and read so many books. I'm back in my movie watching era, I think, and also back in my reading books quite quickly era, and it's good. I think everybody should be consuming more long form content because TikTok is going away. This is not the time to switch to a different app. We are not making Reels happen. I think the fact that the Chinese app is blowing up is funny, but we don't need to make it happen. That's their app. Let them have that. You know what? Maybe that's good. Breaking down the barriers. So maybe we can have a little bit of allowance for that. But ultimately, I think the video apps are not good, except this one that you're watching this on. YouTube is fine, but this is also long-form content. I think you should really be testing the limits of your attention span. I think you should be trying to slow things back down again. It is not the time to turn off your brain and consume mindless bullshit. At least something like this podcast, where we're talking about real things, real life, and how we feel. Find some movies that are gonna make you think about life. Get a Criterion subscription. Get a Mubi subscription. Start looking for shit on Tubi. Watch Ma, the movie. That's just something I saw on Tubi recently. I really like Ma. Watch what's the first movie that's coming to my head? I really want to watch The Worst Person in the World, which is a movie I've already seen, but I think it fits the bill quite well in terms of movies that make you think about your life. I think that's good. I think we should all romanticize our lives in a way that isn't for internet consumption, but more, sure, it's cinematic, which I guess is for consumption, but like, let's not post it so much. Let's just, in our heads, be making little movies. I think that's good. Or like, journal more. Turn your life into a book, just for you. I think these are good things that are going to make you more in touch with yourself, and less susceptible to propaganda, and less susceptible also to people making you feel stupid, because you know yourself, and you're not stupid. You're not stupid, right? On a personal level, my enlist includes applying to grad school. That is only for me. You shouldn't, because I need as good of a chance as I can of getting in. I did have good grades in college, and I did write a thesis, so I'm probably okay, but I still think that maybe the less people who do it, the better. But if you want to apply to grad school, I guess maybe you should, because getting an education is good. Going back to school, why don't we all just go back to school? I don't know. Fuck it. It could be fun. It could be fun if we all went back to school, wouldn't it? At the very least, I think you should treat life like school. Start reading more things about things you don't understand. Look for a syllabus online and just read all of it about a topic that you find interesting. Another thing on my list, listening to music that I used to think was embarrassing. For me, that includes Ludacris, Rick Ross, Bhad Baby, and Chief Keef. I don't care if many think that these are not good hip-hop artists. I don't care. They are good to me, and they make me feel good. And on that note, also going back recently and watching I Threw It on the Ground, and I was laughing my ass off. The Lonely Island sketch, to be clear. This is a year of giving who I was in middle school a chance to live and breathe. And I personally really wanted to be the kind of person who liked Ludacris and Rick Ross. But I thought that that was going to be embarrassing for me. It is not embarrassing. Let's get past that. It's okay if sometimes Ludacris has weird bars. I don't care, because it sounds good. And he says it like he means it. Maybe this is the year of listening to people who say what they mean. And if what he means is, I fill her up balloons, then that's okay.
Coming down the street like a parade. Macy's. I fill her up balloons.
Maybe he can mean that. I just think we really need to let cringe die this year. I don't think it's gotten us anywhere. That's what I'm trying to say. I think we give each other a lot of a hard time, especially in circles where we're trying to be smart and better than other people for going back and indulging in those interests instead of like finding a new thing. It's okay to do it from time to time. If it brings you back to who you are and centers you, I think it's okay and it's good. And for me, that's like weird, bad hip hop that I listened to in college and when I was 12, including The Lonely Island. And my last one is that I think we need to recognize that Lover by Taylor Swift is a bad album. I'm not going to elaborate on that too much. I just think it's not a good album. I think it's a bad piece of art, and I think that we've given it too much leeway for too long. I wanted to try to make a parallel to that, to like how we should move forward as like a society. I guess maybe like conservatives have been given too much leeway for too long, and we need to stop pretending that it's like good. But, like, I don't think we have been doing that. I think if anything, we've been cracking down, and that's why they're back with a vengeance. So, whatever. But yeah, that's what I think we should be doing as a culture. That's my in and out list. I am gonna donate more of my clothes, donate more books I'm not reading, cluttering out my life so other people in my community can use them. I don't know. Do what you can to, like, be a good person, you know? I'm just really trying to look on the bright side and think about things that we can still do. Because I think there's a lot we can still do besides being like, well, we lost. I guess I'll tune out forever and let these people win. Because that's like just not, it's not good. You got one life. So, you know, do something with that if you want to. You know what I do want to talk about before I end this episode though? Is Club Chalamet, because relatedly to the LA fires, she did lose her house in the LA fires. If you don't know who Club Chalamet is, she is a lady who became popular, I guess, or at least well known, when Kylie Jenner and Timothée Chalamet started dating. She freaked out, and there's this quote where she was like, he doesn't go that far with her, when somebody was like, I really hope they don't have a baby. Anyway, so she became popular for being insane. She's like a 50-some-year-old woman, or like late 40s maybe. She's just obsessed with Timothy. She works in finance or something. Or healthcare? Healthcare. She works in healthcare. She narrowly avoided 9/11. She's like, I was going to take this job in the World Trade Center in 2001. And then I decided against it because it didn't feel right. And you know what happened? 9/11. So that's Club Chalamet. Do I know her real name? No. She looks like Kamala to me. There's a picture of her that I always, when I'm picturing Kamala in my head, I'm actually picturing Club Chalamet. She's kind of an icon in a way. Like, she defends herself, I think, quite effectively in terms of being like an aged member of a fandom space. I personally don't have any issue with that. I think if you're someone who's prone to that lifestyle, that shit is never gonna go away. I'm prone to it. I personally keep it quite secret, but I am letting my freak flag fly on private browser. And I do still use Tumblr, so do with that information what you will. She responds to people on Twitter a lot. Like, someone was like, she's insane, but I love her, and she was like, I'm not insane, dear. You know what I mean? Like, she's just kind of like cunty. The main negative is that she's a Zionist, quite unapologetically, so you can't win them all. But Club Chalamet is, regardless, a figure at the moment. She's met Timothy multiple times. There are a lot of pictures of her with him. Some say more than there are of him with Kylie. It's like a real thing, like she loves him. That's her favorite little guy. So far, she's been ignoring the Kylie pregnancy rumors, which have, I think, thankfully gone away. She did appear at the Golden Globes with him, and she appeared not pregnant. So, you know, probably not a real thing. It was just because she appeared in this video with Stormi, her daughter, and Chicago West, Kim and Kanye's youngest daughter. And she basically was holding like a makeup bag in front of her stomach, and everybody was like, whoa, she's pregnant. She's got pregnancy nose. And then you see her nose in like old photos, and it's like her same nose. She just kind of has like an inflamed nose in her normal day-to-day life, which is totally fine and normal. People thought she was pregnant, and I don't think so. I don't think Club Chalamet thinks so either. I do think a Timothy Kylie baby would be funny, mostly because of the reaction to the baby, not because, like, they should have a baby. I don't think they should. People really hate Kylie, mostly, I think, due to jealousy, plus, like, genuine grievance, which I do think is valid. Like, I think she seems basically sweet. She doesn't really read as anything to me. But she's also made all of her money off of promoting, like, a very specific beauty standard, right? And, like, having plastic surgery. And I mean, that kind of figure doesn't really sit right with me. I mean, as an adult, I think it's fine, but like, I also wouldn't, if I had like a daughter, probably want her seeing Kylie Jenner and thinking like, that's what you need to look like. So I understand the grievance with Kylie Jenner. I don't think it's a great body standard to promote. I don't really like what all the Kardashians stand for in that respect. So I get it. I also just think there's not enough we know about Kylie in general to like really dislike her outside of that, especially because she was kind of like groomed into that lifestyle like by her family. Not to use a strong word, but like groomed. It's just like that's an unachievable lifestyle for like the vast majority of people on the earth, and like no one's gonna look like Kylie. No one is gonna look like Kylie. And I can't really blame Timothy for wanting to date someone who looks like Kylie, because she is like a beautiful person. I guess I do have complicated feelings about her, because now I'm also thinking about how she like parades her daughters around. She has one daughter, and Kim's daughters. So Kim and Kylie, like, using their daughters publicly, but not their sons, I think is very strange. I don't know, it's like the Kardashians know that girls are, like, profitable, but guys aren't, because, like, Rob flopped. I don't like that. Why did I want to talk about that? I guess because it was related to the LA fires, and it's just been on my mind. I feel like I'm trying to stop thinking about the Kardashians so much. This really doesn't feel like their decade. There was the Kim Kardashian Santa baby thing that people took way too seriously and really was just like a fun, weird piece of art. I don't know. Let her be weird. Let Kim be weird. That's like one of the most interesting things she's done in years. So, but like I said, I'm trying not to think about the Kardashians so much. They're on my out list. I think the Kardashians are a sign of something negative in our culture. Also, leave Timothy alone for dating one of them. It's not his fault. It's not her fault either. Listen, Kylie is the youngest person in that family. So Like, leave her be. The TikTok stuff is kind of crazy too. I was thinking recently too, because Grimes tweeted, not that Grimes is like anybody to be listening to, but somebody did post a video of her son, ex whatever the fuck, with Elon, his dad, obviously, and she was like, hey, take this down. I actually have a screenshot of it. She's like, hello, heart. I hope this isn't trouble, but could I kindly ask you to please take this down and refrain from posting images or videos of my children in the future? Asking with respect and love, I know it's an odd request, but I believe fame is something that should be consented to as an adult. Have tried contacting media sites privately and not gotten responses, so gonna start gently poking people about this and hope some mother's request can be honored. I know his dad wants to bring him out, and I can't control people filming. I just like to make the situation slightly safer for his brain development in any small ways I can. I hope you understand. Happy New Year. Which is, I think, a very normal thing to say, actually, considering this is Grimes. I think that's her right as a mother to not want her kid posted everywhere, especially when it's such a high visibility situation, considering who the dad is. She did sue for custody 2 years ago. They sued in 2 different states, so Elon sued in Texas and Grimes sued in California. I think Grimes gets her kids every other week, so Elon does technically have, like, primary custody, which is crazy. I know it's because he has money, but, like, I don't know about that. And I personally am of the mindset where I don't like blaming women for, like, having been with men that are bad. There are a lot of reasons why people stay with men that are bad. There are a lot of promises that they give you. There are a lot of ways in which you can be manipulated into staying in relationships like that. So I don't really blame her for being in that relationship is what I'm trying to say. And I think it's reasonable to be like, well, my kid is being taken to, like, Mar-a-Lago and getting pictures taken of him all the time, and I would really rather people not post them. That makes sense to me. So I guess the juxtaposition between, like, people who post their children all the time, like Kylie, versus Grimes, who, like, very actively doesn't want her kids being on social media at all, for, I think, a very valid reason, right, which is their brain development and consent, because a child cannot consent to being online, and as she said, being famous, consenting to fame, which I think is a very interesting concept. But I think we're entering a very new, distinct phase online. Like, TikTok is going away. Meta, which is Facebook and Instagram, is changing because Mark Zuckerberg seems like he's having a bit of a rightward shift. They're no longer going to fact check on those websites. He's buddy with Trump right now. He recently made statements being like, corporate world is too feminized, which is crazy. And it feels like the internet is headed toward a very distinct rightward shift, and I'm really interested to know what that's going to look like. Because traditionally, I feel like the internet has been both, right? Like, it's been right and left. But I feel like, at least visibly, it has been more of a left-wing space. Like, I'm thinking, millennial era, there was, like, BuzzFeed, which was a left-wing site. Twitter used to be very left-wing once upon a time. Tumblr, obviously, was very, like, social justice, warrior, battleground, whatever. And that's kind of what I grew up knowing. So, intriguing, the people who are letting their kids online, are basically letting their kids play in this, like, right-wing playground where they're gonna see, like, AI slop and AI boobies and people having, like, these fights very publicly. It doesn't feel good. It feels like everybody's kind of getting a little bit crazy, and I'm not a fan of that. So, personal opinion, maybe we should be less online. Maybe that should be on the out list. So that's this episode. Sorry this was so scattered. I have so many thoughts. I feel like this was a bad episode, but I'm still gonna post it. I'm trying to be consistent, so whatever. Let me know your thoughts on any of that. What's in your in and out list for the year? How are you fighting the demons? And I guess I'll see you next time. Bye.